to you regarding your mission. Can you elaborate on what your mission is and why it's important to you?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. The primary reason the world is in the mess it's in today is because masculinity has been under attack for a very long time. I wouldn't say it's because I'm particularly good with words. I just understand that there's not a single societal ill you can name now that is not directly correlated to a decline in masculinity. We could even test it. You can name a societal ill, and I'll say it's because men aren't men anymore. Men are the protectors, and men are the ones who enforce boundaries and parameters. We always have been. And because that's been declining, there's been more and more encroachment on the, not just the fabric of society, but even the fabric of truth, right? Even what is a man, what is a woman? You live in LA, you know better than me, right? So objective truth is now under assault. Nobody's kids are safe from the LGBT agenda. Nobody's country is safe from unchecked migrants flooding across the border. Like, nothing's safe anymore. And it's the men's job to say, no, that's enough. This is a hard parameter. We refuse to accept it. This is what men do, not women, typically. So they attack the men first. You destroy the warriors of a society before you want to conquer it. And it's my goal, I guess, my objective, to just try and restore some of the typically, traditionally masculine traits inside of the men of the world today. And they call that toxically masculine, which of course is a lie. It's such an interesting, it's so hypocritical they say toxically masculine, because if they call the police, they want a toxically masculine man. If you have to go to war, you want toxically masculine men. If you need a firefighter, you want a toxically masculine man. And then they call it all toxic and try and throw it out the window. It's so interesting how hypocritical they are. So if you'll often see the more masculine a society is, the harder it is to psyop the populace, because typically in a masculine, patriarchal society, the men protect their women from certain ideals and they protect their women from certain degrees of brainwashing. I'll give you a very simple example. If you look at the COVID debacle, in every household where the woman was in charge, I guarantee they were all masked up and they all took their injections because they were scared. They were fearful. And women are easy to scare. They're easier to scare than men. So you can put it all over the news, everyone's going to die, and you can use an emotional argument because women are typically more emotional than logical, and you can talk about the fact that your grandma's going to die if you don't take the injection, and blah, blah, blah. In a household ran by the men, all this crap came on the news, and unless he's a total pussy, he was like, you know what, everyone just calm down. Let's wait a few weeks. Just relax before we start getting injections. Far more calm. So that's what a man's typical job has always been, and we've lost that in the West now, so they can come along with absolute insanity. And because there's not a male logical barrier to the emotional arguments, to the propaganda, to the garbage, you see the entire population being brainwashed very, very quickly. I can give you a very recent example of this. Joe Biden's the best president ever. He's not senile. He's not senile. Next day. He's senile. He must go. Next day. Kamala's the best. Like, boom, boom, boom. Like they forgot that they were saying that Joe Biden was perfectly capable like two weeks ago. And nobody liked Kamala. Even the liberals didn't pretend to like her. And now they're all like, Kamala is great. Kamala is great. It's like, it's incredible. But that's because no one comes along, or there's no barrier to the brainwashing. And a lot of people are fully slave-minded. The world makes a lot more sense when you understand there's a huge contingent of people who genuinely want to be slaves because they feel happier as a slave because they don't have to think. And then they don't need any personal responsibility for themselves, and they don't have to blame themselves for their own failings. So they want to just be part of a system. You know, it's like, it's kind of scary that they could do COVID all over again. They could do it all over again. Like, a certain percentage of people have learned their lesson, but there's a huge percentage of people who have learned nothing at all. Kamala's great, you know, whatever they're supposed to do. And a lot of this comes from masculinity. I think that men as a whole, call me misogynistic, that would be terrible. This never happened before. But men as a whole, we're typically more prepared to say or do something which may hurt somebody's feelings because we believe it's right than a woman. A woman will be like, but feelings. And a man will be more logical. So a man can sit there and say, no, she's unfit for the job. Oh, but she's a black woman, the first woman president. I don't care. She's unfit for the job. So I think masculinity solves a lot of the societal ills that the West is currently facing. We're certainly going to need it. We're going to need masculinity as the world divides into its two polars, and we have China, Russia, and all these other countries which are very masculine nations, and we're sitting around arguing about what a man is, what a woman is. It's interesting. So yeah, My mission, I never thought of it as a mission, but I just saw the world was such bullshit, and I saw the only answer was a very simple one. So I thought, okay, well, let me at least be a beacon for that. And then I kind of grew a following, and that's where it's going, I guess. But
I want to touch,
because truthfully, and don't interrupt, but the whole COVID debacle was literally contingent on men being pussies. Yeah. The reason COVID happened is because men are pussies. That's why it happened. In the countries where they weren't pussies, it didn't happen.